Namaste. Following Operation Sindhoor, Pakistan escalated its propaganda efforts against India. Recently, this took shape through a Western media outlet pushing the narrative that Modi's absence from the G7 summit signals a major diplomatic setback for India. However, Canada has invited India to the 2025 G7 summit, prompting speculation about the reasons behind this unexpected gesture. This video delves into the motivations behind Canada's invitation to India, examining the diplomatic ties, trade agreements, and geopolitical challenges that shape their relationship and the broader impact on global affairs. The crumbling foundations of diplomacy. Canada and India share a complex diplomatic relation. This relation slipped to record low after Canada accused Indian agents of involvement in the killing of Khalistani separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Although the bilateral tensions didn't impact the trade between the economies, this led to reciprocal expulsions of diplomats and a deterioration in ties. India repeatedly asked for proof from then PM Justin Trudeau, but Canada failed to provide any concrete proof of India's involvement in Nijjar's killing. Ultimately, Justin Trudeau stepped down due to a poor public image, and Mark Carney took his place. The Khalistan issue has been a long-standing diplomatic concern between India and Canada since the 1980s. Following Operation Blue Star by Indian Armed Forces, Canada began providing political asylum to K separatists, which eventually led to the Air India Flight 182 bombing, known as the Kanishka bombing, killing 329 people. The strained Canada-India bilateral relationship has largely stemmed from domestic political dynamics within Canada. The previous Labour Party government governed in coalition with the New Democratic Party, led by then Chief Jagmeet Singh, who has been accused of supporting the Khalistan movement alongside influential Sikh billionaires in Canada. Allegedly, under Singh's political pressure, then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau consistently sought to appease the Sikh community, Canada's largest ethnic Sikh population, numbering around 770K, predominantly residing in British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario. This purported appeasement reportedly extended to providing a safe haven for Khalistani extremists, further complicating diplomatic ties between the two nations. What changed now? On Monday, April 28, 2025, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberal Party achieved victory in Canada's federal election, marking a significant turnaround in their prospects due to US President Donald Trump's annexation threats and trade war. The Liberal Party secured 169 seats and formed a coalition government. Voters focused on local issues such as immigration and economic challenges like high inflation and the housing crisis. Trump tariffs and 51st state remark conjured nationalistic sentiments among Canadians, which was taken leverage by the Liberal Party, which led to their victory. Impact on K moment. In an unexpected development, the NDP party won only 7 seats, prompting Jagmeet Singh to resign as the party leader. It seems Canadians were wary of recurring K riots and protests and feared a secessionist moment within the Canadian mainland itself. The loss of the NDP turned out to be a severe setback for the K movement. The current PM, Mark Carney, seems to be uninterested in the K politics of Canada, as he has more concerns on the Canadian economy and rising geopolitical tensions with the US. Trump tariffs, a catalyst for Canada's pivot to Europe and India. Canada and the US have a highly integrated trading relationship, with most trade involving business inputs. American tariffs would significantly impact key industries such as energy, autos, mining, and pharmaceuticals. The Canadian Chamber of Commerce Business Data Lab reports that a proposed 25% tariff on US imports by President Donald Trump could shrink Canada's GDP by 2.6%, around CAD $78 billion, costing Canadians about $1,900 per person annually. Canada has begun imposing a 25% tariff on certain US vehicle imports in retaliation to a similar US measure. People chose Mark Carney, despite his limited political experience, to manage the economy. Canada aims to reduce US dependence by strengthening domestic production, defense capacity, and forming economic and security partnerships, including with the EU, its second largest trading partner. Canadians and Europeans share common views, with a majority supporting retaliatory tariffs against the US and boycotting US goods, services, travel, and Tesla products. In 2024, Canada-EU trade in goods and services was valued at $161.9 billion. The US-EU bilateral relationship is a highly integrated economic and strategic partnership, historically focused on security, democracy, and global stability. However, since Donald Trump's re-election in 2025 and the shift to an America First policy, relations have been strained. The US reduced military involvement in Europe has raised concerns, especially in France and Germany. The EU and Canada are jointly seeking partners to diversify their trade and address the potential tariff threats from the US. As one of the fastest growing major economies, India plays a significant role in global economic governance. It is already a key trade and investment partner for both the EU and Canada. Strengthening ties with India is seen by both Canada and EU as beneficial for their economies. India is a part of BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which contributes 37.3% of global GDP in terms of purchasing power parity (PPP). In contrast, G7 countries Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US contribute about 30% of global GDP in PPP terms. With economic growth stagnating, BRICS nations are continually growing and adding new members. They are developing a payment system, BRICS Pay, to facilitate cross-border transactions in local currencies, reducing reliance on the US dollar, and SWIFT system, aiming for a more independent and transparent financial infrastructure. Speaking on India's invitation to the G7, the Canadian Prime Minister emphasized India's global significance, stating, "There are certain countries that should be at the table for those discussions. India, as the fifth largest economy and effectively the most populous country, is central to numerous supply chains, making its presence a logical choice." Although India is now the fourth largest economy, this statement signifies India's rising importance in global affairs and maritime trade. Bilateral trade and prospects. India ranks as Canada's 10th largest trading partner, with bilateral trade amounting to $9.36 billion. Both the nations continue to advance discussions towards a comprehensive economic partnership agreement known as CEPA. In February 2025, India's exports to Canada totaled $346 million, while imports stood at $295 million, resulting in a trade surplus of $51.5 million for India. Their trade structures complement each other, as India's export pattern align well with Canada's import needs. Beyond goods trade, the services sector play a pivotal role in their economic ties, with Canada maintaining a strong surplus in services trade. In May, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar engaged in discussions with Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand on the future trajectory of India-Canada bilateral relations. Ultimate verdict: in international relations, there are no love stories, only calculated alliances forged to advance each nation's economic and strategic objectives. We reside in a multipolar world where diplomatic relations are becoming increasingly complex. Many economies are prioritizing economic and strategic interests over bloc politics. Despite Canada and the EU being aligned with the US, Trump's tariffs have compelled them to broaden their trade relations and seek different partners, such as India. This relationship is considered to have potential. In geopolitics, altering diplomatic relations cannot happen overnight. Even though the US influence in the EU and Canada might be fluctuating, it still significantly impacts the foreign and defense policies of both the EU and Canada. A change in power in the US is a crucial factor in this intricate relationship between US, EU, and Canada. This will affect the relationship with India. Additionally, many other factors influence this relationship, which we will monitor and report to you. For now, this can be seen as a success for India in strengthening ties with multiple parties through consistent and ongoing diplomatic discussions. What do you think about India's deepening ties with the EU and Canada? Please comment. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you so much for watching.